is made really very strong so that we can really operate on any kind of database and any kind of request made by the user. So this is a database which we are using, and in the past lecture we have seen how can we use uh, the query construct to write different queries using SQL. Now we are going to see few operations called as set operation and aggregate operations or aggregate functions which can be applied on SQL. When we need to group the databases, then at that moment we can use these operations. Let us go for a very simple example. When I talk about finding out all the customers who have both a loan and a uh, account, a loan and an account uh, in a bank, in any bank. So how can you find that? I
by
want
using by using relations of depositor, account, and loan.
depositor, account, and loan.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I want names of customers who have both an account and a loan in a bank, in any bank. So which relations will come in picture?
Sir, depositor and borrower.
Depositor and borrower. Anyone else? Anyone else?
So depositor and borrower.
Depositor and borrower. So I think a depositor and borrower will be enough for us because we are not bothering about from where that loan is taken, what is the balance of it, or any kind of details about account. What I want is only whether he has a account and a loan or not. So I'm going to get information about the people who are having an account from depositor and people who are having or borrowed a loan from borrower. So in that case, I will just find out the common entries in depositor and borrower. If one name is appearing in both the cases, both the relations, that means he is having both a loan and an account. So if I'm talking about, let us say, in this data set, who is having both, Hayes is appearing in both depositor as well as borrower. So Hayes is a person who has an account and a um, loan. Johnson is not appearing in both. Jones is appearing in both. Lindsay is not. Smith is appearing in both, and Turner is not. So from this, I can find that there are three people who are having both Hayes, Jones, and Smith. These are the three names appearing in both of them. So how can I write a query for this? If I am trying to write a query with normal constructs, it may be difficult for us to uh, write a query for this particular matter. So SQL supports set operations. So which set operation gives you the common entries in both the tables?
So
Set operation
intersection.
mathematics you have learned. Yes.
Intersection.
Which function?
Intersection.
Intersection. Intersection function gives you the common entries in both of them. Which are the other functions available in set operations? Which is the other operation, other set operation?
Union.
Union. Absolutely right. So these are the operations which we have already operated on, we have already seen. That's what we are going to apply on the data sets also. Okay. So when I want to find out all the customers who have a loan, an account, or both, means he can either have only loan or only account or both. At that moment, we are going to use a union operation. Okay. An union operation can be performed and a query can be written in this simple form. It is going to be written in this simple form. The first query, select customer name from depositor, is going to produce a table. As I said in earlier lectures, every every query produces a relation. So you are going to get only customer names from the first query who have an account, and we can have similar output from the second query, select customer name from borrower. So in this case, this output from depositor. So in this case, this one query is producing one output, this another query is producing another output, and we are just putting a union operation on both of them. Okay, so what it is going to do, all the common entries first, all the leftovers from the first operand and all the leftovers from the second operand. This way it can be managed. So we can have a union operation which is going to return me either or and both. Whereas if I am going for a simple find all the customers who have a loan and an account both at a bank, at that time we are going to produce an intersection operation. Okay, very similar, only thing which is changed is intersect. So intersect and union are the keywords which can be used as a set operation in performing this kind of operations. So argument it is going to take will be a table or a relation. Both will be a relation. Similarly, find all the customers who have an account but no loan. It should appear in depositor but should not appear in borrower. At that time, we are going to use this except operation. Okay, so with the help of except operation, we can get the answer for this query. Okay, so these all are set operations: union, intersect, and except. Except means minus. Okay, produce all the entries from this table except these entries. Okay, so this minus this intersection does, and this intersection, this union does. So this way we can have a set operations applied on that. One thing only we'll have to keep in mind is when you perform the set operation on any relation, make sure that arity of that relations must be same. What do you mean by arity? The number of columns it has and the data types of the columns you have, domain types. Okay, so arity must be same. That is the only thing which we need to take care. When arity is same, then it is not possible for me to intersect borrower and depositor directly. I cannot say depositor intersect borrower or depositor union borrower, because even though both of them have two columns, their arities are different. Depositor have a customer name and account number, whereas borrower has a customer name and loan number. So the arities are different. So they cannot be become an operand for a set operation. Okay, so we need to first make its arity common. That's why what we are doing, we are producing a table with only customer name from depositor. We are producing another table with only customer name from borrower, and then we are performing a union operation. Okay, so first this operation will be performed, next this operation will be performed, and lastly union operation will be performed. Similar case, first, second, and third operation in this particular query. Okay, so this way you can make use of set operations on any database, any relation having same arities. Okay, Is it clear? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Now, on similar grounds, we have another category of operations which we can perform. They are called as aggregate functions. Here we are producing an aggregation of different values in the relation. So if I am just going back to this relation set. Now, in case I want what is the total loan amount which is borrowed. If I want what is the total loan amount which is borrowed, I will have to find the sum of this column. Am I right? That means you are going to aggregate these values to produce one single value. So aggregate function is a function which take a set of value and produce a single value. So I can get sum of all loan amounts from this. Or else if I want to count how many loans are borrowed, so I can just count these. So as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, whatever is there. Okay. So I can produce a count as a single value. I can produce a total of loan amounts. I can also get what is the minimum balance, what is the maximum balance. So these kind of operations which we can perform on a database, or for that matter any set. These operations are called as aggregate functions or aggregation operation, where we are performing some operation on a particular set of value, and we are producing a single digit, or sorry, not single digit, single number or single value as an output. So the aggregate functions are average. We can find the average of balances, average of age, average of salary, this kind of things. Minimum, maximum, sum, and count are the 5 aggregate functions. Here, the formal definition is written. These functions operate on a multi-set of values of a column in a relation and return a single value. Return a single value. So this way we can find these are the different operations which are possible. Of course, when you find a average of some value, it has to be a numerical set of values. Minimum, again numerical set, maximum, again numerical set, sum also again a numerical set. Only in case of count, we can avoid having a numerical set. We can have any kind of set and you can get the count of it. Okay. So what can be the functions we have? Find the average account balance at a Pereridge branch. Okay, what is the balance, average balance of at the Pereridge branch? So condition is branch name is equal to Pereridge. So what we can write? So we can write the query in this way. Select average balance from account where account name is equal to Pereridge. We can do in this way. So this condition is very easy to impose. We can get the balances of all accounts from account, and what we are doing, average balance. So AVG is the keyword. In bracket we are providing the parameter for which this aggregate function need to be operated. So on the balance column, this AVG operation will be produced, and you are going to get a very simple and output in this way. AVG that will be named exactly similar to whatever you are writing in the select clause, and say account average balance is 500. Okay, so this will be a table produced by this query. Okay, so in this way we can, what thing you can keep in mind is the keyword of that particular aggregate function and the parameter which you are going to pass. I can also name it as we have seen in the last lecture as AV. So now it will be printed as AV instead of AVG balance. It will be called. This will not be there. You are simply going to see it as AV. Okay. So this is also possible. So as clause we have already seen. Uh, Find the number of tuples in customer relation. I just want to see how many rows are there in the customer relation. So it becomes more simple. Count star. Count star. So it is going to count all the rows present in the customer relation. Find the number of depositors in a bank. Okay. What we can do? Find the count of customer names from depositor. Okay. One more keyword. Whatever made is bold are keywords. So one more keyword is added here, distinct. Okay, if one customer is having five accounts, we should consider him as single customer. He is owning five accounts, so that it must come only once. Hence, to avoid duplicate values, we can make use of distinct. This distinct can be used in a normal query also. So with select clause, I can write select distinct account numbers. Okay, so it will avoid the duplicate count. So in this way, I can make use of different aggregate operations. Similarly, I can you find out the branch name having minimum assets? Can you find out branch name having minimum assets? Can you write the query for that? Branch name having minimum asset. Post your query in the chat box. Branch name having minimum assets. Please answer it in the chat box. Or at least find out the minimum asset from the branch table. Find out minimum asset from the branch table. No, I want a query, man. Fine. What Sumit has written. Sumit has used nested queries. We'll later come to that particular part. He may be comfortable with that, but right now we'll avoid using nested queries. Yes, it is a very convenient way of and convenient and important way of writing the queries, but right now we'll not go for that. But when I see the answer of Mary and uh, Vaibhavi, for that matter, then Puneet, they are doing it right. Uh, and see, right, Mayank has written, or for that matter, Raksha has written, this won't work. This won't work because minimum asset is a function which is returning some value in where we need to write some condition. Okay, we'll have to write some condition. So we'll have to check that whether that asset is equal to minimum assets or not by finding it out. So right now we'll just go for a simple query, select minimum asset from a branch. Okay, so this way you can, these are very, we'll use this particular knowledge in our next part of discussion. We have, I'll go for that. Now in this database, let us say that I want to find out few things like um, how many number of loans or how many accounts every branch has. How many accounts every branch has. If I want to find out that, how I can go, how I can do it. Okay. From where I'll get that information? I'll get that information from account relation. Am I right? How can we do that? We are going to just find out downtown one, then scan the entire database. So we get downtown having only one account. Then Perry Ridge, find out the occurrences of Perry Ridge. It is also only once. Find out Brighton. Brighton is appearing twice. Okay, Brighton is appearing twice. So Brighton has two accounts, Mianas, Perry Ridge, for that matter, Redwood and Redhill, all are having only one account, and only Brighton is having two accounts. Okay, or in other case, I'll go for a little better one. Find out the number of branches in every city. Find out the number of branches in every city. So I get Brooklyn has 2, Horseneck has 2, Ray, Bennington, Palo Alto, and sorry, Horseneck has 3. Okay, so output table should be Brooklyn has 2. I'm not drawing the table. Horseneck has 3, and Ray has only 1. Bennington has only 1. Palo Alto is also having only 1. So this kind of information may be asked. So what exactly we are doing here? We are finding out the occurrences of Brooklyn in entire table and just counting the number of occurrences. Similarly, we are finding the occurrences of Horseneck, and we are again doing the same thing. Okay. So actually what we are doing, we are making a group of branch cities. Group of Brooklyn, group of Horseneck, group of Ray, group of Bennington, and group of Palo Alto. Okay, and in each group, how many occurrences are there that we are trying to observe? Okay, so for that, your SQL supports a clause called as group by clause. It supports a clause called as group by clause. I forgot to put the title here. I'll just put here. This is a very important clause which we are going to check or learn, because this makes most of the job easy. Now find the number of depositors for each branch. Okay, how many depositors are there for each branch. At that moment, we are counting how many accounts are there in that particular branch. So we can write that query in this way. We can write that query in this way. As we have been asked for depositors, one account, we can get the information from depositor and account together. So what we have done, depositor and account, where depositor dot account number is equal to account dot account number is a very implicit condition. And then what we are doing, in that we are grouping it by branch name. Now what will happen? All the occurrences from one branch will be calculated, that branch will be displayed, and the count of that will be displayed. Okay, so हर ब्रांच के सामने उसका काउंट डिस्प्ले होगा, जैसे कि हमने अभी प्रीवियस एग्जांपल में देखा. Fine. So
Yes, sir.
just a moment.
Sir, can you repeat?
Just a moment.
Repeat the. Oh.
Yes, I'm repeating. Just a moment. So what this group by clause is doing? Group by clause is grouping with this particular attribute. Grouping with this particular attribute means, again I am going back to this one. So same example, what we did, this is a count. Let us say that what is the total asset of Horseneck branches? What is the total assets of Horseneck branches, if I am being asked? Or what is the sorry, what is the total assets of every city? What is the total assets of every city? At that time, what I am going to do? I am going to find out all the branches located in Brooklyn, get the total of its assets. Then get all the branches located in Horseneck, find the total of its assets. Then similarly for Ray, Bennington and Palo Alto. You are going to, exactly what we are doing in this case, we are actually grouping the information for a city. We are out of this, in this particular case, I am taking out all the cities from Brooklyn and making a group. Taking out all the cities from Brooklyn and making one group. Taking out all the cities from Horseneck and making another group. Taking all the cities, branches from City Ray and making third group. So for we are making separate groups out of this table. And on every group, I can apply your aggregate function. I can find minimum asset in the Brooklyn city. I can find out minimum asset in the Horseneck city. I can find out minimum from the asset from the Ray city. Okay, or find out how many number of branches in each city. So how many occurrences are in Brooklyn group, how many occurrences are in Horseneck group, how many occurrences are there in Ray, Palo Alto or Bennington group. So we are grouping that particular data set separately. Okay, let us go for one more example. We want to find out, get number of customers from every city. Get number of customers from every city. So I can now go to customer relation. Okay. How many distinct cities are there? Pittsfield, Brooklyn, Ray, Woodside, Stamford, Harrison, Palo Alto. Okay. Rest are getting, and Princeton. Okay, Princeton. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 distinct cities are there. I want to get number of customers in every city. Number of customers from every city. So make a group of Pittsfield. Make keep it separate. group of Brooklyn, Ray, group of Woodside, group of Stanford, group of Harrison, ऐसे हमने अलग अलग ग्रुप बना ली। अब हर ग्रुप में एक एक एंट्री कर लो, ठीक है। एडम्स का एंट्री चला जाएगा पिट्सफील्ड में, ब्रूक्स का जाएगा ब्रुकलिन में, रे का जाएगा करी में, ओके। लाइकवाइज ग्लेन, वुडसाइड, ग्रीन, स्टैमफोर्ड, हेज, हैरिसन, जॉनसन, पालो अल्टो। देन what about Jones? Jones will be added in Harrison group. Lindsay will be added in Pittsfield group. तो ऐसे एक एक करके हम उसमें ग्रुप में वो ऐड करते जाए। So make separate groups. Now what is the count of Pittsfield? Can I get? Yes, I can get. Can I get the count of Harrison? Yes, I can get. Can I get information about Ray customers? Yes, I can get. Fine. So this group by function actually groups the whole relation based on the attribute which you are producing. Now coming back to this. In this, we wish to find out number of depositors in each branch. We wish to find out number of depositors in each branch. Keep that database open in front of you. Find the depositors from each branch. So I don't want the account numbers, but I want depositors. Okay, or I'll make the thing simple. Instead of this, we'll go for account. Then the thing will not be confusing. Find number of accounts from each branch. How can I write a query for this? Okay, how can I write a query for this? What I want, from where I can get this information? It's very simple. From where I can get this information? I can get the information from
account.
Account, yes. I'm facing a problem with this new state. So from account, I can get that information. It is possible. Okay. Now, what exact information I want? I don't want the account numbers. I don't want the branch names, but I want how many accounts are there in every branch. In every branch. So I need to make groups on branch name. Okay. So we are going to write group by. Group by is a keyword. Group by branch name. Okay. And what we are going to print now? The branch name and its total account. Total accounts. We are going to put branch name and what is the count of account in that group. Count of account number. Fine. So what it is going to produce? It is going to produce a table which is having branch name in that and count of accounts in the other column. The output will be, let us say that A branch, B branch, C branch, D branch, and here the number will be produced. Let us say that this has 12 accounts, this has 5 accounts, this has 7 accounts, this has 10 accounts. Okay, so this is possible. Also, I want sum of balances for every branch. So I can add one more parameter here, sum of balance. So at that time, one column will be added here in the output, and we are going to get sum of balance here. So what this, let us say that sum is 1000 here, in this case 2000, This has 500. So what it is going to produce? The branch name, how many accounts it has, and what is the total balance in that particular branch. So thus I can group by with on a particular attribute. Of course, that attribute will never be a primary key, because primary key never gets repeated. तो वो कहाँ group form होगा? वो group एक एक का ही होगा. So we are finding out some attribute which will have number of occurrences in that relation, and then only it can be grouped. Okay. So this way I can find out the number of accounts for each branch. Now when I want to find out number of depositors, at that time we'll have to make use of depositor and account together. Because one person can have number of accounts, so he should be counted only once. Is it okay? Have you understood this at least? Is it clear for everyone? Yes or no? Or finding it difficult?
Yes, sir.
So now we are just adding up a simple thing here. Now instead of finding out the account numbers, we are finding out the number of depositors. So this query returns you that. This query returns you how many number of depositors it has, because see अब क्या होगा, आपने अकाउंट नंबर मिल गए, अकाउंट नंबर के बाद आपको उन डिपॉजिटर्स पे जाना है और occurrences of customer names count करना है. When you count customer names, there is a possibility that some customer name may come twice. So that time he is only one person. He may have 1 or 2 accounts or 4 or 5 accounts. So he should be counted only once. That's why we are taking care of distinct here. So branch name, what table it is going to produce? It is going to produce a table of branch name and count of its account holders, not accounts. Count of their account holders. Okay. So यहाँ पे branch name आ जाएगा ABC, और let us say that this has 10, this has 5 customers, this has 20 customers. So it will be listed out in this way. Okay. Branch name and count of deposits. So this way we can make use of a group by function. Okay. With group by we can also impose a condition that we'll see in the next picture. So if it is not clear, then you can ask me the doubt, or we can stop for today. And if you want to raise some doubt, definitely you can ask, or you go study and later you find out if you have any doubts.